Good morning and namaste everyone. It is me Thakur Prasad Rizal, your social studies teacher, class 9. So, I would like to welcome you all in today's class, but before starting today's class, let us revise the lesson that we had discussed in our previous class. Dear students, in our previous class, we have discussed about the lesson corruption, where we discuss about the introduction to corruption, its causes, solution, its effect as well as the efforts done in Nepal for controlling corruption. So, today we are going to discuss about lesson 5.1, introduction to constitution. So, let us start. Dear students, you know very well what the constitution is. Constitution is the supreme law of the country, according to which all other laws are made. Okay. So, I have brought here some of the definition of the constitution. So, first of all we can say the constitution is a set of the fundamental principles or established precedents according to which a state and all the institutions under its jurisdiction are governed. Jurisdiction means the territory where the power can be exercised, or in Nepali we call it Kshetra Dhikar. So, from this definition we become clear that constitution is the fundamental principles or established laws according to which a state and all the institutions which come under it are governed. Similarly, we also can say the constitution is the supreme law, main law of the country, which compiles the rules, conduct of the government and organization or the state, or the combination of fundamental rules, regulation, conduct of the government, etc. also can be called as constitution. Similarly, the constitution clearly divides the state power among the various organs of the government. You know very well, basically legislature, executive and the judiciary. Similarly, a perfect constitution that reflects the true face of the country, because the country is governed or ruled as per the provision which is made in the constitution. Similarly, so after its introduction, let us discuss about the types of constitution. So, if you look at the history of the world, you can find there are two types of constitution. They are written constitution and oral constitution. Written constitution is that type of constitution where the different laws, principles, regulations, etc. are kept in the written form, and it is given the form of a book, that is called written constitution. But the oral constitution is the constitution where there is no any written records of the rules and regulation, but the country is governed according to the prevailing tradition, customs, norms, practices, etc. That is called oral constitution. So, you can see USA is the first country to implement the written constitution, which came into practice or which came into effect from 1787. So, that we can say the Constitution of USA is the oldest constitution of the world. Similarly, the present time almost all the countries of the world, they have the written constitution except one country. So, the Britain is that country which do not have a written constitution. So, it is ruled according to prevailing tradition, customs, norms, convictions, practices, and which are changed as per the time and need of the people. So, Britain is only one example where there is no written constitution and the country is ruled according to the oral constitution. Similarly, I have one more information for you regarding the same constitution, that India has the biggest constitution in the world. So, the oldest constitution of the world is the Constitution of USA, and the country having no written constitution is Britain. In the same way, the country having the biggest constitution of the world is India. Okay, I hope you are clear about that. Now, let us go to the function of the constitution. So, what kind of functions can be done by the help of the constitution? Let us look at the slide there. The first is the constitution determines the structure of the government, one function. Similarly, it also limits the power of the government. So, it clearly divides the power among different organs of the government. So, it limits the power. Next is it divided the state power into various organ of the government, legislature, executive, judiciary, as well as it maintains the relation or it maintains the balance among the power, balance of the power among this organ of the state. So, the next function is it legitimates the function of the state, means it gives legality to the functions of the state. Similarly, it guarantees the rights of the people, basically fundamental rights. It also instructs the constitutional authority to function within the jurisdiction, means up to where their right prevails. So, by using their Kshetradhikar in Nepali. Similarly, the next function of the constitution is it makes the ruler responsible and accountable towards its citizen. That is the next function. So, after this we come to the constitution as fundamental law of the nation, means why we call the constitution as a fundamental law of the nation. So, the first reason is all the constitutions are the major collection of the supreme law, or you also can say the constitution is the supreme law or major law of the country, according to which all other laws are made. That is why also we can say constitution as a fundamental law of the country. Similarly, so any law which become contradictory to the constitution, that will be called invalid. So, whatever laws are made in the country, that should be matched with the theme of the constitution, otherwise they will be invalid. Similarly, constitution also is the fundamental law of the nation, because the article of the constitution, they are based on the political philosophy of the country, as well as all the acts. Bill is the proposed new law, I think you know very well. Similarly, rules, regulation of the country, which are made as per the provision of the constitution. So, because of this reason we can say the constitution is the main law of the country, or in a single sentence you can say all the laws are made being based on the constitution. If any laws goes beyond the theme of the constitution, that will be called void or that will be called invalid. That is why we can say constitution as the main law of the country. Now, let us go to the next point, that is constitution as a written document of directive principles. So, why it is called the document of the directive principle? The answer is the constitution depends on the directive principles of the country. For example, you can see the constitution of Nepal, which was made in 2019, it was guided by the principle of panchayat, because panchayat system was in practice at that time. King Mahendra has introduced the panchayat system in 2017, and this constitution was introduced by the same government. That is why, so it was guided by the principle of panchayat. Then after the constitution of the kingdom of Nepal 2047, so it was provision for the election system, house of representative and so on, because that time so democracy was regained in Nepal. After that, after people's movement 2060 to 63 BS, the interim constitution of Nepal 2063, that was guided by the principle of secularism, republicanism and proportional representation. As well as if you look at the recent constitution, the constitution of Nepal 2072, it is also guided by the same principle of secularism, republicanism as well as proportional representation. So, because of these points we can say constitution is the written document of the directive principles. So, now let us go to the next point, that is the importance of the constitution. Then why do we need constitution, or what kind of privileges the constitution provides to us? Go to the first point, that is the constitution provides legality to the action and the activities of the government as well as its organ. That is the first importance of the constitution. Similarly, it limits the power of the government, guarantees the people's right, make the check and balance between the power of various organs of the states. Next, it decides the nature, shape, functions of the government, as well as it is also important for maintaining law and order in the country, fulfilling the rights and aspirations of the citizen of the country, for achieving the peace, security and prosperity as well as stability within the country, and for guiding the nation to the correct directions. So, that these are the importance of the constitution. So, now let us talk about the features of an ideal constitution, which characteristics or which features there should be to be a constitution an ideal, or what kind of characteristics make a constitution ideal. Let us look at there. So, the first point is the clarity. So, to make a constitution or to be a ideal constitution, the constitution should be clear. It means all the article, all the clauses of the constitution, they should be clear and free from ambiguity, means not having different meanings, or they should not have any kind of contradiction, and as well as all the constitution that should be written in the simple language, so that the ordinary people also can understand it. So, to make a constitution ideal, so the first important characteristics is clarity. It should be very clear, so that everyone can understand it easily. So, next feature is changeability or flexibility. So, a constitution is made according to the circumstances, so that might turn unfit in another circumstances. For example, you can look at the Constitution of 2047 is not fitted for this time. So, we made the changes. So, if you look at the history of Nepal, our constitution has been changed in different time periods, because the constitution which are made in one circumstances that may not be fit in another circumstances. So, that there should be the provision for its amendment or change as per the time, as per the circumstances, as per the need and demand of the people. So, that feature also should be there to make a constitution a ideal constitution. So, look at the next characteristics, that is universality. Okay. An ideal constitution, though being short, it should include all the major provisions related to the system of the government, distribution of the power, fundamental rights, etc. It means a constitution has to be short also, but while making short, we have to include all the necessary things that a constitution must have. So, that feature is called universality. Similarly, the next one is consciousness. Okay. The constitution, to be ideal constitution, it should have the wide coverage, but it should not be very lengthy. So, it should be short, but it should include all the things, that is called consciousness. Similarly, the next characteristic is separation of the power. So, to be a ideal constitution, so there should be clear distribution of the power among the executive, legislature and judiciary. There should be check and balance, so among the power distribution among these three state organs. Similarly, another point is respect for the public wish. A good constitution is prepared according to the popular wish of the general people, so that it aims at the promotion of the public welfare, or a good constitution should work for the public welfare, because all the constitutions are made for the welfare of the people. And the next point is provision of the fundamental right. In every constitution, there should be the provision of the fundamental rights for its citizen, or the fundamental rights of the people should be guaranteed by the constitution and should have the provision to protect and promote them also. So, if that provision is there, only then we can call a constitution as an ideal constitution. And the next one is independent judicature. Okay. To make a constitution an ideal, a constitution should be a constitution should make the judiciary fully independent and efficient organ. Otherwise, the democracy may not be successful. So, because of that reason also, the judiciary should be made independent. There should not be any kind of political interference. So, rule of the law should be ensured. So, these are the features that a good constitution must have. With this, we are coming to the end of our class. I hope you have understood whatever I delivered here. So, I just revise very quickly. We discussed about the introduction, functions, then after importance, and what are the characteristics or the features that a good constitution must have. With this, our class concludes here. Thank you very much and have a nice day.